Mm-hmm. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and in today's video, I thought I would jump on the bandwagon and do what a lot of other booktubers, or really romance booktubers, have been doing, and that is the book recommendation tag. This was originally made up by Steph, I do believe, so this is not something that I made up. No. So, but I thought it would just be fun to give you guys some of the recommendations of books that I've read that I really enjoyed. And I don't do recommendations very often. I do a lot of wrap-ups, I do a lot of hauls, but I don't do a lot of recommendations. So I thought this would be new and fun. So let's just get into the book recommendation tag. I have my notes down here if you see me looking because I can't remember them right offhand. But the first one is a book that you tell people is your favorite. And if you're new here and you don't know, I am a big Candy Steiner fan. I absolutely love Candy Steiner. I love all her books that I've read so far. So my favorite book to this day is A Love Letter to Whiskey. I love this book. I'm sure by now you probably know what it's about, but it is very angsty. This book is very angsty, and if you don't like angst, please don't read it and then give it a bad review because you don't like angst, okay? If you don't like angst, don't read the book at all, because this book will make you want to throw it across the room. I wanted to. It gives you all the feels. This is a very much right person, wrong time type of book. So you just want them to get together. You don't know if they're going to get together. It's driving you crazy, but it's a great time reading it. So like I said, if you don't like angst, don't read this book, because I don't want you to give it a bad review because you don't like angst. So you are warned in advance. Okay, the next book is a book that is your guilty pleasure, and I just don't have one. I don't care. Like, I don't feel guilty with what I read, so I do not have one of those books. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't like what I read, I don't care. So I don't have a guilty pleasure. That was one of the most easiest questions to answer. The next one is a book everyone loved, but you didn't. Okay, so I have two for this one. The first one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I just didn't get the hype. I didn't like it. I unhauled it. It's gone. That's why I don't have a physical copy. I just didn't like it. Like, will I watch the show if it ever comes out, or the movie? Sure. Because I think it would be nice and it would be interesting to watch, but I just didn't like the book. I don't know what the hype is, but I am the minority there, because I know it's a lot of people's favorite book, but I did not, no. No ma'am, nope. And the second book that other people loved and I didn't was Credence. Look, I love Penelope Douglas, I do, and I loved aspects of this book, but I didn't love the book as a whole. So I think that's why I put it for this question. This is a forced proximity, step uncle, step cousins type of ordeal going on. And I didn't like who she got with. So I was rooting for someone else, and it didn't happen. So this was okay. Not my favorite Penelope Douglas, and yeah, everyone loved it. Not me. The next one is a book you read the fastest, and I don't own a physical copy of this, but it is The Confidence of Wildflowers. I cannot remember where I found this book. I can't remember who was reading it on Instagram, but it looked interesting, so I picked it up off Kindle, and I picked it up, ironically, it was like a day before the second book was supposed to come out. So I read the first book in a day, and then the second book came out, and then I read that one. So that was the fastest book that I've ever read. Partly because it was on Kindle. I just read faster on Kindle. But another thing, I just wanted to know how the book ended. So this is an age gap romance. We're following our heroine, and I can't remember her name. I'm feeling like it's Salem. I'm feeling like that's her name. And a neighbor moves in beside her, and his name is Thayer. I really want to say it's Thayer. It's been a while since I read that book. But they start up a friendship first because she nannies his son whenever he's in town. And then like a relationship grows from there. But it's really good. Check trigger warnings though, because there are some. and I don't want you to go in and not know any. So, but that, yes, that'd be the fastest book that I've ever read. The next question is a book that deserves more hype, and I am going to choose On the Way to You by Candy Steiner. I just feel like this is one of the Candy Steiner books that doesn't get a lot of hype, and it should. I read this last month. I absolutely loved it. If you're big into road trip romances, this is what this is. It is a road trip-esque book. They are traveling from Alabama to Seattle. So it's more like a strangers to lovers. They do not know each other when they start the trip, and they end up going, and they just form a relationship as it goes. I love this book. If you have not read it, read it. Trigger warnings though. Please check trigger warnings for this book as well. I think you should check trigger warnings for any book that you read, just in case you have them. I don't like to give them away all the time because sometimes they're spoilers. So if you want to know trigger warnings, message me and I can let you know. That would probably be the easiest. Next is a book that is becoming a TV show or a movie. So everyone's saying Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm not going to say that, even though it is. It's already out. You can go binge it. It's like, if you go do it, it's great. But I'm not going to choose that. I am choosing whenever this comes out. Like, who knows? I am waiting. I am waiting, and I am scared because if they don't do it right, it's going to suck. They need to do it right. Like, I would much have preferred, like, HBO Max to have decided to do this, but it's Hulu. So I'm a little scared. I think HBO Max would have knocked it out of the park, honestly, but that's just me. So you know what this book is. It's A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's the original cover. I will never get rid of it. I hate the new covers, but that's besides the point. We're following Feyre as she travels in her woes and whims in Perinthian with the fairy people, okay? That's basically what it is. And we all know we just want this book to come so we can get to the second book, which I don't know, second season. I don't know if they're going to do a book a season, but we all know. You just have to do it justice. There's too many people that'll like picket and riot if it's not done justice. And then the second one is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is going to be made into a movie, and it's cast. We know who's going to play Ryle. We know who's playing Lily. We don't know who's playing Atlas yet. That's key. I feel like that's key because I know like Blake Lively is playing Lily, and at first I was like, but then I was like, maybe. And then Justin, I can't think of his last name right now, but he's off Jane the Virgin, is playing Ryle and also directing. So I think he'll do it. I think he'll do it justice, but like Atlas, that's the key, you know? So we're going to see. It's just sometimes, you know, you wish things would go well and then like they make a movie and it's like, what happened, you know? So like I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. More nervous than excited though. Next is a book you've reread the most, and for that I am choosing my old copy of Twilight. Look how yellow she is. That's beautiful. But I think I've reread this book the most out of every book I've owned, and I don't reread books. I just have too many on my TBR to reread, but I think I've read this one 3 times at this point. Will I ever reread it again? I don't know. But it's just, this book opened up such a genre in the YA genre, a subgenre, I guess I should say, in the YA genre when it first came out. There was not a lot of paranormal books coming out. This came out and it was like the floodgates opened and everything came out. We had fairies, we had angels, we had vampires, we had fallen angels, we had everything, and I just ate it up. I ate it all up. But this will always have a special place in my heart because it's Twilight. It's Edward. Team Edward all the way. I love this book. I have the look, I even have the special like covers because the other covers suck. These are beautiful though. But yeah, definitely have reread this one the most, and I don't reread books, so that's saying something. A book from a genre you don't typically read. So for this one, I chose just like literary fiction. And for that, I chose My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I tabbed that sucker. Yeah. I don't read literary fiction very often, and I feel like this is what this would be. This isn't romance. This isn't maybe women's fiction, but more like I feel like it's literary. This is about a student who I guess it's 15, 14, 15, when she starts being groomed by her teacher into a relationship. Very dark, my dark Vanessa, but also just very dark. Trigger warnings. Again, look these up or ask me. I loved this book though. I did, but it was hard to read and I was cringing at times. I felt dirty at times. But I think it's meant to. It's meant to make you feel that way, and it did a really good job at doing that. Okay, next is a book that deserves all the hype, and for that, I am giving it to Daddy Emerson, Praise by Sarah Kate. I love me a good daddy, okay? I just do. Sue me. But Daddy Emerson, look, I just read the newest book, Highest Bidder, and Daddy Ronan was nice, but like there's just something about Daddy Emerson. You know, I don't know what it is. But if you're into some kink, some praise kink to be exact, some ex-boyfriend's father, age gap, this is for you. Like, here you go. Read it. Like, if you haven't read it yet, just do yourself a favor and read it. It's on KU. It's a quick read. Like, her way of writing just makes everything so fast. Just, like, give yourself a chance and read it. It's so good. Consent. We love consent and asking for it, and he makes sure to do that. And I love Emerson for that. I do. I love you for that. So, but yeah. I do like myself some older man, father, ex's father type thing. It's my thing. Next is a book that you always recommend. And for that, we're going with another daddy. Well, why not? And for that one is Birthday Girl. This is, I would say if you're just starting to get into like romance, but you want to determine like what your trope is, and you're like, I want to try my ex's father or like my boyfriend's father, go with this because it's a slow burn. There's no kinks or anything in it, and it's just a nice romance between her ex's father and her. I love it. Daddy Pike and Jordan. I'm pretty sure her name was Jordan. At this point now, I don't know. I need to reread this one. This was one I would like to reread because it was my first like age gap and I loved it. Holds a special place in my heart. I really wish I had the Mystic Box edition of this book. Oh, if anyone ever finds it, please let me know. I would sell my firstborn to have it. That's dramatic, but that's me. So yeah, age gap. Ex-boyfriend's father, boyfriend, because they're technically broken up. You know what it is. Still, recommend it. Give it a try if you haven't. Pretty much everyone has, but if you haven't, give it a try. A book with your favorite characters. Okay, for this one, I have to choose A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, the found family in this book is amazing. Reese is my first, I feel like my first, like, true book boyfriend, because, like, I had Edward, but, again, I was, like, 15 at the time. When the book came out, 15, 16, so, like, I didn't know what book boyfriends were, but now that I do, he was my first. Reese is definitely my first. Plus just everyone else in this book. We've got, of course, Feyre. And, oh Lord, I'm drawing a blank. Azriel, and Cassian, and Morgan, and, oh my gosh, the girl, the A name. Amron? Wow. It's an A name. It's not Amarantha. That's the girl. Oh, okay. Don't come for me in the comments. I cannot remember. But yes, this has all my favorite characters. It also has my favorite setting, but that wasn't a question. Valeris? Hello. City of Starlight? I want to go. Like, I need to go right now. But definitely this. Like, if you ever ask anybody, you know, like, in the ACOTAR world, like, what book's your favorite? Like, with the characters, it's going to be this. Like, shut your mouth. It's this one. A world you would like to live in. So a book with a world you'd like to live in. Again, I would choose that in a heartbeat. However, I didn't want to choose two for the same one, even though I did, but that's okay. I actually chose Neon Gods by Katie Robert for this because I am a mythology whore. Is what it is. I love myself some mythology, and the city of Olympus in this just sounds amazing. You have like the upper side with like all like the not the nice people, because the gods aren't very nice, but like the skyscrapers and all this, and then you go down the river, like it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's split with a river Styx. I can't remember what the river's called, but then you go down to like the lower city, and that's where Hades is, and that's where this book takes place. And see, if I can visualize the place, then you know it was like written well that I would want to live in it. So plus, I want to go to Hades, like one of Hades' parties. If you know, you know. Like, things go down at his parties, and I just kind of want to see what it's all about. So I would definitely choose this world to live in. A book that made you cry. Well, you know what made me cry? This book. This book, right? Oh, it's not matte. I hate that. Okay. This is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. If you know, you know. This book is going to tear your heart out. Rip it up, shred it, and then at the very, very end, it puts you back together again. But you're gonna hurt as you're reading it. Specifically, like the last 20%. You're gonna cry. And if you have a soul. If you don't have a soul, then you're not gonna cry. But I loved this book. And it is YA, so like I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. But I did, and if you haven't read it yet, it's not that long of a book either, but it's so good. And then I also cried during A Court of Mist and Fury because I'm a big baby, and it was more like the end. It was like towards the end. It was where I was crying, even though I didn't need to, but I did. And then I also cried with A Love Letter to Whiskey. I have inserted me crying to this book multiple times, so I don't think I'm going to do it for this one. I bawled like a baby during the epilogue in this, and I've cried with other ones, but I cry when I'm happy, when I'm sad. It's just a thing. Oh, I missed one. Next is a book you thought you would hate, but you actually loved. Okay, Planet Barbarians. What? Yeah, like I don't read like alien romances. I don't read monster romances. I read Twilight, but I don't count that as monsters. But I didn't think I was gonna like this. I'm like, blue aliens, you know, females, women taking kidnap. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna like this. Well, you know what I did? I actually did, and I'm not guilty about saying that, so that's why it's not a guilty pleasure. But I think if you're just getting into monster romances or alien romances or whatever, give this one a shot. It's not a lot of like world building. It's a lot of smut. That's what it is. It's a lot of alien smut. And if that's what you're looking for, I got you. I got you covered. Ruby Dixon's got like 18 of the, I don't know. She's got a lot in the series. She's got you covered. And then the last one is a book you wish you could reread for the first time. And my goodness, there's so many, but I didn't want to have to like say another book again, but I can't help it. It's this one. It's this one. A Love Letter to Whiskey. I love this book. I wish I could reread it again. I wish I could feel those feelings again, because I do want to reread it, but like I know I'm not going to feel what I felt when I first read it, because I already know how it ends. But I loved the story. And this is my like public service announcement. If you have not read this yet, read it. Thank you. But that is all of the questions. There's 15. I will leave them down below in the description if you want to do this tag as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new and would like to join the family. I would love to have you. Let me know down below, what is one book that you recommend to everybody? Like, if you can only choose one, which book is going to be like your top recommendation? I would love to know. Also, if you don't feel like leaving a comment, just leave me leave me like the whiskey, like leave me a cup, like an alcoholic drink emoji, because it's my favorite book. Just to know that you were here. My social media is linked down below. As always, my Goodreads, my Instagram, if you want to stay more up to date and day to day with what I am reading. But I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh my. Okay. Now I need to take a picture. That's heavy. It is very heavy. I'm not a fan. Stay. It is a very much, got something flying in front of my face. Dust, hair, I don't know. Whew. My phone, my watch is telling me to get up and move. You lazy bum. Okay. The next is a book you read. Yeah, it is. Okay. Excuse me? Are you disgusting?